We're glad we're on a one-game win streak. And when you go back and watch the game, what I said after the game up here was true to form when I watched it. We defended them light years better than we did in game one, which is a positive, which is what it should be. They shot 52% against us at third place. They shot 37% here. We gave them 18 layups or opportunities for layups last game. They had, I believe, 8 in the last game, significantly better. We minimized back cuts, and I was pleased with what we did defensively. I thought we had a chance when we, at home, got that 13-point lead for an opportunity to maintain distance. To their credit, a little bit of what we didn't do didn't happen. We turned it over twice in a row, and they went on a 6-0 run or 7-0 run, and 13 is now 6, and it was a tight game down the stretch. We are who we are. We shot 30 free throws. They made 7, I think, something like that. So we've been really good against everybody we've played of getting to the free throw line, and we need to maintain that. That's one of our huge strengths offensively. So now we have Utah State for the second time, and we had a whale of a game at their place. They had a sellout, standing room only crowd, probably as big a crowd as they've had all year, and it was a great game. That they hit a 3 when we're trying to foul at the end of regulation, and X dominated the overtime play. Utah State is playing in the upper echelons of our league right now. They've won 3 out of 4, 3 in a row before Vegas, and they will come in ready to go, and we need to make sure we are also. Any questions for me?
Coach, how would you say Utah State has done this year? It seems like a lot of teams, when they kind of come into the Mountain West from the WAC, they struggle a little bit at first. But Utah State seems to be, like you said, in the upper echelon of the league right now. Why do you think that is?
Utah State is playing as we speak as well as they could. You say, okay, rate the top 4 or 5 teams right now in terms of how they're playing, and Utah State would be rated there. They struggled early to win games. They lost their opener, a 1-pointer at Air Force, so they struggled out of the gate. But right now they're playing really good basketball. I know Stu would probably like to start it over right now, start the league play over, and say we could compete with anybody. They're not going to win the league, but they could have a say in who wins the league. And they're coming in here thinking just that. They're saying we can win the tournament. Let's stay hot while we're preparing to get to the tournament. He's a terrific coach. Stu Morrill has been successful everywhere he's been. They have more set plays that they execute than anybody in the country. And you'll watch them. They're like a football team. They'll have a assistant coach holding up a card, and a guy right next to him, another coach holding up a different card. One of them is the play they want to run. They run set play after set play after set play, and they're really good at it. And their two wing players, Medlin and Butterfield, are the two of the best 3-point shooting wing players in the league. So they're a hard team to guard. They're a hard team to guard. They get looks, and they're good at getting the looks they want. They didn't have Davis, their power forward, play against us in the last game. He was out with a knee injury, and he brings a dimension that they really like. He's a go-to guy inside. He's a very good defender, and he's maybe their best rebounder. So they're one man that they didn't have who's vital to them.
So what do you expect out of this game? I mean, even last time without Davis, it went to overtime. Like, how do you kind of look at what you guys did against them last time and sort of change things going out against them tomorrow?
We've got 12,414 strong Aztecs. They had 10,500 Aggies. I think that will make a difference. Our fans make difference. Their fans make a difference. So the home court's of value. And we need to not say, well, the fans are going to win it for us. We need to come out and compete like crazy. So I think the secret to any game is how hard will you play? How long will you play that way? How smart will you play? How long will you play that way? If you can combine the two for an extended stretch, then you got a good chance. But we're going to have to play 30, 35 seconds of possession and 40 minutes because this is a good team. And I know coaches always say that, but they are. They are a good team that they're playing well. They're playing well, and they can score the ball in different fashions. And I know Stu likes his team. So we go back, we watch the game tape, and it's always how are you going to guard ball screens? How are you going to chase them off those exchanges? We call it floppy when they run from one side to the other. How are you going to defend them in the post? Those are things that you have to be able to do.
You've said before that you'd be curious to see how far the team drops in the AP poll when you lose. Well, you lost and you only dropped one. Do you think that's out of respect or maybe the other top 10 teams losing? What do you think the reason would be?
You know what? I didn't give it a lot of thought. I was, as I said before, I'll be curious to see what happens on Monday after we lost at Wyoming. So we better make sure that we win our next game, which we did. We were helped by teams that were right there who lost. Villanova was rated 6th. They got crushed at Creighton. Michigan State was maybe in that next spot or two. They lost at home to Nebraska. Michigan was in that next area. They lost at home to Wisconsin. So I think some of the teams that may have creeped up ahead of us, had they won, they lost. So we held serve a little bit for a lot of reasons. I think the fact that we are now regarded as a team with a program. It's not unusual to have San Diego State ranked. And I like that, coupled with the fact that some of those teams right there lost also. So we dropped one spot. Duke went ahead of us, I think, in the AP, and Duke and Louisville, who's on a long win streak, went ahead of us in the Coaches Bowl. And that's about what you would hope would happen if you're a San Diego State fan. You would have to say that's pretty fair where we got ranked this year or this week. Anything else for me?
Coach, what's Dwayne Poley meant to the team? He just seems to bring some added excitement both offensively and defensively as well.
Dwayne, I believe, has scored back-to-back double-figure games for the first time since he's been here and first time since he was a freshman at St. John's. It's happened for a lot of reasons. One, he's playing well. Two, he's getting to play. One, he's getting to play. Two, he's playing well. Depend on who you ask. He's the first guy off the bench. And the ball finds Dwayne Poley. Dwayne Poley finds the ball at both ends of the floor. He gets more deflections than anybody else on our team. He gets opportunities because he's athletic. He's a hard guard. You know, if you play him against a bigger guy guarding him, he can pick and step out and drive the ball a little bit and rebound the ball. But he has a knack when we're pressing to get his hands on balls, get deflections, get steals, get layups, get dunks going the other way. He's a big reason why we've continued to be successful. And I like how he's playing. We need to keep him that way. Need to keep him in the moment and concentrating on both ends of the floor, exactly what we need. But Dwayne, I'm really proud of what he's done. And I've said this before, the best thing about Dwayne Poley is what we see every day and nobody sees. How he is in the practice floor, on the practice floor, how he is in the locker room. He went games he didn't play. Did not play a second against Arizona. He was as encouraging as anybody we had. When he's played limited minutes in games, he's been smiling and happy, and that's not fake smile. He's a wonderful young guy, and that adds to the reasons why you feel good when he gets a chance and then performs. He's a terrific young guy.
Coach, some guys have really thrived in that sixth man kind of role, like Manu Ginobili, Eddie Johnson. Is he a guy who might be wired that way to really thrive coming in and then adding a shot of adrenaline off the bench?
I think most college kids are, when they're close, they're saying, boy, I wish I were a starter. I think most of those strive and pine to be a starter. And yet, control what you control. And if you're that sixth man, you have to have the attitude of what you said. I'm going to be the best sixth man that's ever hit the planet. And I'm going to play that way every game. And then that little voice in the back of your brain says, and then I'll be a starter. And I'm sure that's what he wants. And to be honest, if it keeps going that way, that will happen. Whether it happens now, whether it happens a month from now, whether it happens next year.
What would have to happen for him to break into the starting lineup? I mean, given the fact how he's playing and things like that, would it have to be an injury, or what do you foresee?
To be quite honest with you, at this stage, with 7 regular season games to go, or 6, it would have to be an injury or something drastic would have to happen in how someone would be playing in a not so good way. And you know me, if you look at our MO over the years, I don't bounce around and play different combinations. If you play bad one day, I move you out of the lineup. That's not who I am. You have to play, and you have to have some consistency, but I believe that I'm pretty consistent and don't overreact when you have a game or two where you're out of this world or where you don't play well. If you play out of this world, you're going to get more playing time, but not necessarily as a starter if you've not been a starter. So, long answer to your question, he probably won't start.
Coach, can you talk about the role that walk-ons have played on your team this year, especially Walt, Michael, and Federico?
Our walk-ons have been sensational. I don't refer to them as walk-ons. I say, this is part of our team. Let me have my scout team out here. And they do a terrific job. They work very, very hard. They know their job description. They're probably not going to get to play unless it's one way or another with, real big lead or real big deficit. But they've been great. And whoever's the lead scout gets them beforehand, and they are the scout team. And they really work at it. And you throw Angelo Chol, who is also on that scout squad, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. And they give us a closer feel to what we'll see on game day as maybe any team we've had. And I think that's helped us.
And it's going to be challenging, too. They have to simulate so many different teams. What does it say about their ability to recognize and do what they need to do when suddenly you're trying to be one squad and they're trying to be a squad with a completely different offensive setup?
It's hard to get into San Diego State. And those kids have no assistance getting into San Diego State. They got in on their own merit academically. And when they got in, we then said, okay, yeah, we'd love to have you. But we didn't provide assistance to get them in. So they're good students, which means they're pretty smart young guys. But most importantly, they love basketball and they want to continue to be a part of it. That adds to their excitement to come out and say, okay, I'm going to be the best player on that other team today, and I'm going to be excited about it. I'm going to make X look bad, or I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to, and they do a great job.